Warm-up on the PlayStation 1 is an interesting one because it's quite a rare game. It's hard to find. If you try to look up information online, more often than not, you are greeted with a sea or a flood of other articles and other information that has nothing to do with the game. If anything, I think Google gets confused as to what it actually is. Now, the game was given a different name depending on other regions, but essentially it's a Formula 1 game. It's not an officially licensed game. It doesn't have official brands, cars, drivers or anything like that, but it does have some of the official tracks that you can race on. But it's more of an arcade experience, and it was developed by an unknown crowd by the name of Lanco and was published by Microids, that saw a release on both the PlayStation and the Windows PC in the year 2000. Now, with that being said, this was at a time when we saw a flood of other Formula 1 games being released heavily on consoles and PC platforms of the time, and they did range and vary in quality, some being excellent while some being good but could have been better. They had various glitches and annoyances that definitely would hamper the experience. So where does this game fit in the grand scheme of things? Well, from the get-go, visually this game, if we compare it to other games on the PlayStation, it's very subpar. It doesn't have the same level of detail compared to other games. Also, the animations and the various gameplay features can be quite choppy. Even the frame rates can be quite glitchy and the whole game just feels choppy at times, but it is very fast paced. The handling can be quite twitchy, but again, this is an arcade experience. So unlike most races in many of the Formula 1 games where you have to literally get into first place, this game requires you to play in an arcade format, with the goal being to pass or overtake a required number of additional cars on track at any one time in order to proceed on to the next race, and you also have to do it within a strict enough time limit, which is fun in the beginning but can quickly become overwhelming and definitely very tricky, especially on later stages and more intricate stages with sharp bends and curves, as you can get thrown off the track very easily, and especially if other cars crash into you, which they will in this game, you will spend the entirety of the race trying to catch up only to make more mistakes. So you do have to have your wits about you when you're playing it, for sure. But I have to say now, spending time playing this, like I said, I knew very little about it leading up to this. It's definitely not the best F1 game. If anything, it could often be considered as probably one of the worst. But I like the concept behind it. The fact is that it focuses around trying to overtake cars in order to progress. And I found the more I got into it, the more I began to enjoy it. Yes, the handling is twitchy, but you can get some familiarity with it. Once you understand the track layouts and you know when to slow down, you know when to brake, you can master certain elements of the game. But it does definitely get more difficult and tricky the further into it you get. So it is one of those games that just will require a bit more time and effort and patience to get familiar with it. But it's definitely a lot better than I thought it would have been. Now, it's definitely not the best Formula 1 game on the system, not by a long shot. But what it does present, it presents short bursts of fun in small doses. And like I said, it is enjoyable. Now, it won't appeal to everybody, but it will appeal to a select few. It really just depends on your own play style and preferences and what you're really into. It just won't be for everybody. But aside from that, it is an interesting title. It's different, it's quirky, it presents a different experience from your typical Formula 1 games that might be worth a try for some. And I would love to know your thoughts of this if you know anything about it at all, because there is very little information that can be found online about the game in general. And if you have played it, or you've even owned it, or did you even play it on the PC, I would love to hear your thoughts of it and what did you think of it overall. So be sure to shout it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around other types of Formula 1 games that were also released on the PlayStation, then you can check out this playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.